tease you there.
There you go.
I'm good.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Do you like our levels?
Yep.
How do we sound?
I was just using it just with Natalie.
How about
Derek Grant.
Good?
Yeah.
That's how I test the mic.
Derek Grant. That's who it was, Derek Grant.
Derek Grant.
That's what we were talking about. I told him.
Yes.
He was cracking up.
He's large, that guy too. He's big.
But I was bigger than him.
They're bigger than everybody. Ready?
Not just taller, but like bigger.
Welcome to the Dr. Hockey Podcast. I'm Dr. Jay Calvert. I'm here with Dr. Jason Berkeley. We are fresh off a Ducks event. I'm wearing my Ducks
Yes, you are.
hoodie today.
Yeah.
It's not really a pullover hoodie though. That's a zip up in the front. I don't know what this is. Anyway, it was a great event. I was happy to have you there.
Thank you.
What'd you think about the Ducks?
Thank you for inviting me. You know, I mean, obviously I'm not a fan of the team, but the players were literally the nicest guys around. I really had a good time mingling, although it was real disconcerting for me because, you know, as I'm almost 6'7", I'm about 215, 220. So I was bigger than just about everybody on the team.
You
And
were.
so for me, I said, hey, I could hang with these guys, but we were not on skates or in pads. So it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I think skates and pads, you'd be singing
It
a
makes a
different
little bit
tune.
of a difference, yeah. And it was funny because you and I were talking to Derek Grant for a few minutes, and you know, we were talking. He said, "Hey," he goes, "You're a pretty big guy. You play?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm too old, and also if you saw Happy Gilmore, I don't skate as well as Happy Gilmore." He started laughing. He goes, "Well, how's your shot?" I go, "About the same."
There you go.
So, but very nice guys, and I was especially pleased. Ryan Getzlaf, nicest guy on the planet.
He was very cool.
And we're talking to him. We were talking about just random stuff, real estate, whatever. But you had to like my line that I used.
No, I know. I think he kind of liked it
He
too.
was cracking up.
Yeah.
So I said to him, for those obviously who weren't there, which was everybody else except for Jay, I said, "You know what? You're such a nice guy. I'm sorry. I need to apologize for you." He said, "For what?" I said, "I have to apologize for everything I said and yelled at you in Game 7 of the 2013 playoffs when you were playing my Red Wings." And he goes, "Oh, you're a Wings fan?" And he turned his
Yeah, that
back
was
to
it.
me.
Then it was over.
Then it was over. But then he started cracking up. He goes, "I forgive you. Don't worry. I heard you. I know what you said, but I forgive you." But
He also said I'd been called a lot worse.
yes,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
he said I was called a lot worse.
Well, you know, the thing about Getzlaf though is he's a consummate player. He
Yeah.
can go both ways, and defense, offense. He's an amazingly strong player, and he definitely will throw down. I do see him in that, but he said, "Oh, I don't
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in that box." I see Getzlaf
Yes.
in that box as much as anybody else, and he does go after he'll go after him. I saw, you know, Getzlaf and going after Crosby when they beat the Pens in Pittsburgh, and he's not shy about it.
So-
He'll throw down.
If you're listening, Ryan, I am a Getzlaf fan. I'm going to say it right now.
There you go.
With no reservations. I also had an opportunity to speak with Cam Fowler, which was great.
A hometown
For my
hometown Detroit boy.
Farmington Hills, Michigan. And I had an opportunity to ask him, and I also asked Ryan Kessler, because he's about maybe 3 miles down the road from where Cam and I grew up. And I asked them both the question. I said, "You guys are obviously on the Ducks. You're not with the Red Wings. When you go back to Detroit or when they come here and you play them, do you ever even get a slightest pang of either regret or you feel bad for the team if you win or you score a goal on them?" And both of them resoundingly said no, that they're there to win. Even Kessler looked at me with a straight face, and I thought he was going to get a little annoyed at me. But he said, "I'm here to win," and that's it. And he said, "It's always special when I go back there." They both said they grew up as Red Wing fans, which is obvious. But you know, it was really insightful, and I was very glad I could talk to both of those guys. And we shared some commonalities as far as the Detroit area and our favorite foods and some other things. But yeah, it was really a great experience.
That was cool. Here's Jason with Getzlaf. Can you guys see that at all? Here, you want to take it?
Yeah, and you can see there's some other pictures of me in there, and
Yeah, that's with us with our wives and Ryan Getzlaf. You can see Jason is towering over Getzy.
well, no,
he's for real.
I'm not talking about him as much. He's about 6'4".
He's 6'4".
So
He's a pretty big
it
dude.
wasn't. But if you saw me with some of the other guys, and you know, some of the other guys were actually like guys that I thought were very unassuming. You'd never think that they were hockey players.
Yeah, no,
That was the thing too.
Look, Adam and Reek and I look like we went to college together. Totally, you know, he was very cool.
Yeah,
And here's Ryan Miller. The
yeah,
goalie.
Ryan Miller, I had a chance to talk to him.
That was great. We had a good
A
chat
fellow
with him.
Michigan State Spartan. We talked about Michigan State and East Lansing for a while, and
I mean, seriously, I look like I just got off,
Standing
Willy
in a bowl.
Wonka and the Chocolate Factory set.
Looks like he's your chaperone.
I know, exactly.
you're not an Oompa Loompa, Jay.
I think I might be. It's all right. I'm fine with that. The Oompa Loompas they were hardworking people, and they took care of business for that factory for many,
Yes,
many
they
years.
did.
And here's Nick Ritchie, also one of my favorite players. Having a great year, by the way, Nick Ritchie. Really doing well.
Yeah.
And he's, it's funny because they had just come back from losing to the Philadelphia Flyers the night before, and then they had to be at practice in the morning with their new coach because
Yeah, they just found out that
they
Randy
fired
Carlisle.
Randy Carlisle.
Wow, how about
in
that?
the morning of this event.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Okay, so something had to change.
okay, but here's my question.
They're sucking it.
There's, okay, yes, there's no question, they've won, what, 2 games in 56 days, or whatever it is?
It's
Something
more
like
than that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is this, though. I understand that a coach is obviously integral to the whole team and calls the shots. But is it always the coach's fault? Or is it just he's the guy that falls to fall on the sword for the team?
I think you have to look at why the team is losing.
Okay, but is it not that the players are not executing as well? Is it not getting the message anymore? I understand why you have to fire a coach sometimes, but are they sometimes sacrificial lambs?
Yes, for
Okay,
sure.
then
I
it's
think
not
in this case,
It's not the coach, it's the players.
I think there's been. Okay, so with the Ducks, and I don't want to spend the whole episode on the Ducks because we have
Right.
other teams to talk about.
And your brother's gonna yell at us again.
He is going to yell at us.
He's gonna yell at you, and then he's gonna yell at me after that.
He wants to hear about the Florida Panthers.
Or Calgary Flames again, or Colorado Avalanche.
I don't know what he wants to hear.
The Avalanche stink now, so I don't know.
Here's the problem
Yes.
with the Ducks.
Yes,
45 players have been on the roster this season.
okay.
That's a lot of changes.
Well, I think their whole misfortune began well before even the season started when Corey Perry got injured, who I met, and is a very nice guy, and I asked him how the knee's going, he said it's holding up pretty good, and
He just came back.
yeah,
Just recently.
just came back. So you're talking now, this is the middle of February, so the team was already behind the 8 ball when the season started.
Yes.
And it was just a calamity of errors, just boom, boom,
Eves was
boom.
out. Perry was out.
Eves, I wanted to see Eves, he wasn't there though.
He was not there. And then also, my wife loves Patrick Eves. She would love to have met him, but he wasn't there. And then the Cam Fowler was out at the start of
Yeah.
the season. Yeah, I mean it's been awful. They don't have a steady roster. They have moved through. Nobody's generating.
Speaking of Cam, by the way, let me interrupt you, but I said to him,
You do mean that.
I know, but this is a
Okay,
funny story. I said to him, I said,
Whatever.
Cam, just do me a favor. I won't tell how I got the number. Give me the number of whoever I had to call to get you on the Red Wing uniform. I said, I will do whatever I can. I will, whatever I have to give, whatever I have to do. I said, that is my one goal right now is to see you wearing the winged wheel. He started laughing. He said, I can't give you a phone number, but I appreciate that.
And,
Anyway.
well, it's his agent. That's who you need to talk to.
I don't know who that is, but
You're
I
gonna talk to
know
Ken
say.
Holland. You got to talk to Ken Holland. Do you think that the Red Wings can use Cam Fowler?
I think he'd be not just a blue chip, but I think he'd be a golden, whatever you want to say, chip for them to continue their rebuild. That you get a guy like that to take over and run the defense, oh, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think he'd be great for Detroit, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he'd be a tremendous, beyond, he'd be just as important as a Dylan Larkin or Andreas Athanasiou in the rebuilding process.
He would
no
be.
question.
No, that's a good idea. I mean,
Sign a guy to a long-term contract and get him out there.
I think you're right.
Bring him home.
You could bring him home. Do you think you'd sign Stevie Y at the same time? Is that happening?
Yeah, my head would explode. But I talked to Ryan
Like
Kessler, as I
Scanners.
mentioned. I asked him about the hip.
Just like Scanners. You ever seen
Exactly.
that
It
movie?
would exactly.
Is that an 80s movie?
It's an 80s movie.
I think it's an 80s movie. Scanners? Scanners? No. We got no.
They weren't even born yet.
Not even born. Not even here. No, there you go.
But Ryan asked Ryan Kessler about the hip. He said it's holding up. He goes, I'm a little slower than I used to be. And I said, yeah, but you know what? I'm watching you. You're still managing to get out there. You get in the corners. You get in the puck. You're in the places you got to be still. I said, that's all that's important. And he said, I appreciate that. So. None of them wanted to hit me, even though I admitted I'm a Wings fan, so it was all good.
I think Derek Grant wanted to hit you. I was thinking at one point that he was gonna take a
No,
swing.
he was.
I
he
did.
might have
I
been the
thought
nice-
at one point.
No, he might have been the nicest of all the people we met. He was, and you were sitting there talking like you know these guys forever.
I don't know them at all. Actually.
No, it was nice. I was impressed to see it.
Yeah, well, I talked to Derek Grant about his trip to Pittsburgh, because he did spend, so when we came back at the beginning of the season, the first thing that was noticeable to us on the Pittsburgh roster was Derek Grant in Pittsburgh, and we knew that would be good for him, because we liked him a lot as a Ducks. You know, my wife and I, when we would watch Derek play, we were like, you know, this guy's got some juice, he's gonna do really great, and he's moved around a lot, so, but we saw him maturing on the Ducks. When he went to Pittsburgh, he's come back now, he was traded back to the
Right.
Burgh, and he is a different guy. And that actually happened the weekend that I was in Pittsburgh. We saw Derek Grant play against Winnipeg, that June 4th game on Friday night.
June 4th?
And on, January 4th,
Oh.
not June 4th, January 4th. I was thinking he was traded in June to Pittsburgh from the Ducks, and then now back to the Ducks on January 4th. He played in Winnipeg and then was back to Anaheim. So it was good to see him back, and I asked him, what did you notice about Pittsburgh versus Anaheim in terms of the organization? He said, the thing about Pittsburgh is they expect to win, and they expect to win everything all the time, and anything less is a complete and utter failure. And it's not seen as like, we're gonna get them next time. It is like a problem that they lost.
Pretty
And
impressive.
that's how they run the team.
Pretty impressive motto.
I thought it was awesome. He goes, and that starts with Mario and it continues with Sid, and he said it is, you know, pervasive through that organization, that winning is what this is about. And he was really specific about it. It was cool to hear him talk about it.
Nice.
I asked Sprong about that too. I said, because Daniel Sprong also came from
Right.
the Penguins, and he's the only guy from the Netherlands that's
Right.
playing in the NHL right now. And I said, so differences, what do you think? He goes, I'm just happy to be here. He goes, it's a totally different organization, but I have a lot of opportunity here that I did not have in Pittsburgh, and I'm glad that I can participate and help the team.
Well, the Ducks are gonna need a miracle. They're in last place in the Pacific. I don't think that's gonna
Rough
shame to be said, but, and we have a little guest here. It's Gritty, who
I
is
mean, seriously?
freaking me out.
I know. You know why? Because he's reminding you of your nightmare.
My nightmare. If you ever have a chance, anyone out there watching the movie, yeah, exactly. Stop it. There's a movie called.
He's scared.
There's a movie called The
It's for
Trilogy
real.
of Terror with Karen Black about a little doll that comes to life when a necklace falls off it. And I saw it when I was 7 years old, and it
Poor
scared the
Jason.
crap out of me. And to this day, it still scares the crap out of me. So look it up.
I'm a little scared
If-
myself. Just
well-
that Gritty may turn into that doll.
Well,
What if that happens?
if his jersey falls out, there's gonna be a problem.
It's just gross.
Yeah.
I really don't like Gritty.
No,
I
I don't either.
I have a real problem with this thing. It's ugly, scary, and he looks like he should be on the list of people that can't live in your neighborhood. I mean, really. You should know if he's there. He's bad.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
He does look like you could turn into that doll
He
from
could,
Trilogy of Terror.
yeah.
What if you put a knife? If you just put a knife in his hand, like, and cant up the eyebrows a little bit, it's terrifying.
Oh, and speaking of movies, I'm very, very thrilled to see that next year, in 2020, Coming to America 2 is going to be released.
No.
In August of 2020,
No.
yes. Starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall.
No way.
And I think the plot may involve that Prince Hakeem has a child that is in Queens of some sort. I don't know the exact circumstance, but that was what I heard and read. We'll have to see, but I'm looking forward to that.
That movie was hilarious.
Yeah,
Very funny.
and of course, it's known for the cameo by Randolph and Mortimer Duke.
Yes, of course. At the
The
end,
homeless guy.
the homeless guys,
In
who
the
he
middle of
drops
the
a
movie,
bunch of money on
After
him.
he had dinner, yep.
Another actor got their start in that movie who came in to rob the McDowells.
Mm.
Yep.
Do you know who that was?
Did he also get a Royale with cheese in Pulp Fiction?
He did. He did get a Royale with cheese. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
That is not an 80s movie, though.
No, I know that.
second
That was
one.
94.
1991?
1994 came out Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction in
Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it was Samuel L. Jackson,
He was.
and he played the person who was robbing the McDowells.
He didn't have a Royale with cheese. He had a
No.
big kahuna burger.
No,
bit
it wasn't.
into, may I have a bite
Yes,
of your big
But they
kahuna
talked
burger?"
about a Royale with cheese.
He said in France, they don't have a
And
quarter
also
pounder
at
with cheese.
McDowell's, he had a Big Mick.
That's right, the Big
Right.
Mick. It's not those people from McDonald's again. Who played the George, who's the actor who played the
John
father?
Amos. He was from Good Times.
Yeah, from Good Times.
I love him.
Hilarious.
He's the best.
So funny. That was a great movie.
They have the Golden Arches, I have the Yellow M.
I know, Golden Hearts.
The Golden Arcs, excuse
The
me.
Golden Arcs.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was good. Oh, and who was the heir of the Soul Glow company? It was a guy
Eric
from
LaSalle.
Eric LaSalle
From ER.
From ER.
Yeah.
That's right. He was good.
Just let your soul glow.
That was awesome.
All right, so we got a couple questions here. Yes, we're gonna be talking about the Malkin High Stick. And I don't know if you saw my post on your wall, or it was on the Dr. Hockey Instagram or your Instagram. But, so, Evgeny Malkin gets tangled up, and it was against Philly, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he
Let me see.
turns around, and with a full swing of the stick, hits a guy in the face.
Yes, I saw that.
And he gets 1 game suspension. And I'm sorry, that is completely inexcusable. You cannot give a guy who does that type of swinging motion with a stick with the purpose of hitting someone 1 game. That's why this garbage and cheap shots like this and people licking players, whatever else, happens because they don't penalize enough for that. That should be a
Well-
10-game minimum, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
That's like in Slapshot when the guy gets knocked over and then the Hanson brother takes the stick and smacks him in the head with it with a full chopping motion. You can't do that.
You can do it in the movies.
In the
but
movie
you
you
can't do it.
can.
You can't do it on the ice. No, I agree with you. I mean, I thought that was a egregious penalty.
Yeah.
And by the way, they were up like 4-1 or something.
What's he getting all pissed off about?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the issue is.
1 game though, he's got that in his pocket waiting in the locker room. He says, "Oh, here you go."
Yeah, no, I know that was no money for him
None.
to give up.
It's-
It was
it's a worthless
what,
penalty.
$51,000?
Whatever it is. Yeah, I think so. So it's a worthless suspension and didn't teach him a damn thing and, didn't make a difference. I think they should absolutely go on for 10 games in this, and the league has to get tougher with that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, there's no question that Malkin is a guy that can lay it down when he wants to, but there's no reason for him to be slashing.
And then 10 games hurts the Penguins more than.
Well, 10 games
you
would have
know.
killed him.
Yeah.
That would have killed him for sure. So when's he suspended? The next game?
I don't know. I'm
I'm
assuming.
not sure when that'll be. Thornton milestones. Did somebody ask about that? Joe Thornton? Yeah, I mean, Joe Thornton, is tearing it up. He passed Gordie Howe in assists.
Yeah.
And I think next he's on the heels of Timo Solani. He's also played, there's something about it was like most games, Shahab knows this, I'm sure by heart, because he worships at the Shark Temple.
I think he tied Solani for most games played.
Do it on
Oh, yeah. Give him,
Oh.
Shahab, yeah, go ahead, take the mic.
Here.
All right, so,
I'm not sure, but I think he tied Solani for most games played too.
most games played.
Yeah.
And
around
then, he beat Gordie Howe in assists.
Yeah,
Right,
correct.
but Howe was not the number 1. He just passed his record.
Yes, he's number 8 right now, I believe.
Right, so
Yeah.
so he's got that, and then he had some other milestone this year too. Was it
The
his?
third one, yeah.
Was it his
Points,
assists and maybe his points?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy's just he's going off the chart.
Hasn't won a cup. That's all that matters. Look at, what's the
Where's your
first,
comeback?
wait a minute.
I got none, man.
What's the first question that they ask anytime there's any type of NFL press when Dan Marino comes over to get interviewed?
Yeah, I know.
What did it feel like to be there and not win a cup your entire, or win a Super Bowl your entire career? That's it. It's the only thing that matters. You can have all the accolades you want. If Wayne, okay, let me ask you a question. If
Ask
Wayne,
away.
if Wayne Gretzky had all these records, and had been on a team like Connor McDavid is, and is floundering with the Oilers, but he had all these points, all the accolades, all the assists and everything else, had every record in the book, but didn't have a cup, would he still be the Wayne Gretzky that we know today or not?
Definitely not. No, he
There
would
you go.
be, he would be,
So Joe will
Some
always
dude
be
who
a
played
really
for-
good player who has a couple records,
That's right.
but never brought his team to a cup. And listen, I respect for the guy. I don't like him necessarily, but I respect for him as a player, and what he's done on the ice. Don't get me wrong.
no, he's amazing.
I'm
Joe
not
is,
coming down because I don't like the Sharks, I don't, but I'm not coming down on them. I'm just
I don't like
simply
the Sharks
saying,
either.
that it matters
You do?
what someone's
No.
legacy is when they leave the
That's not the
game.
Sharks at all. I can't believe that they're doing so well.
Yeah, I just find
Doing
it.
it.
But the problem is that when you have a player like that caliber, and they leave the game, and their legacy always had a little bit of an asterisk next to it because there's no title, no championship. And that's the problem.
Let's think of another player, just like Joe Thornton, who never won the cup, who is a massive record holder, like a player that you know, who is amazing but never won a cup. Can you name one? See, it's hard because you don't know who they are, and you have to think through
You
who
have
it
to
is.
think, yeah, you just
You
think
do.
who it might be.
You have to think through who's a record holder that never won a cup. That you can, like, I mean, it's very hard to even
Do you
think
have
of
one
those
off the top of your head?
people. Can't, not at all.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone right now off the top of
John
my head.
Glue, that's who I'd say.
Oh, he's an all-around, yeah, but he's also an all-around nice guy, so, you know.
I don't know what record he holds either, but it was funny because I think Tuukka Rask is now the all-time winningest goalie
He is.
for Boston,
Yeah,
and that's what John said. He sent me a text. He's like, "Well, looks like he beat my record." No, and John Blue is one of our favorite goalies of all time, and he played for the Boston Bruins, but he did not get to Tuukka Rask's record. So, but no, I really can't think of somebody offhand where I go, "Oh, and that guy never won a cup."
I can think of two guys who waited like almost 20 years till they won the cup. Like
Guys who waited 20 years to win the
like
cup. Who?
Ray Bork and Andrew Chuck with the
Ray-
they
Lightning.
won.
No, I'm saying they waited like very
You
long.
remember Ray Bork
Fine,
because that
because of
and Andrew
Colorado.
Chuck, you
Yeah.
remember
Right.
also. And that's the thing, you can talk about, like, you can remember great players of the NHL, like Joe Sakic
I'm trying to
and
think,
Mark
did-
Messier and these
Did,
guys, because they did win.
Dino Cicerelli win a cup?
Dino Cicerelli.
I don't know if he won a cup, because he was actually not on the
He may
wings.
not have, and he has some records in terms of his rookie year,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That's a great question, I don't know.
That'd be one player I
Sean,
would
can you
think
check
comes to
that?
mind.
Can you see if Dino
I don't think
Cicerelli
he
was
won,
ever
no.
on a Stanley Cup team? And I can't think of anybody that's like leaping to mind that I'm like, oh, great player never won a cup. Cause I can remember the players that I can think of throughout the years are definitely cup winners.
Okay, well, how about this one? Well, Jerome McGinley. Boom.
Jerome McGinley, that never won a cup.
Yeah.
Great player, record holder,
Phenomenal player.
but not a record holder.
Yeah.
Does he have any record whatsoever that is of note?
I'd have to go look, but I'm saying but you're talking about someone
Excellent
who's a elite player.
I think he has a record for goals for Calgary. I think he does,
Think
he's
so.
the leading scorer of
Well,
all.
record or
time
not, he's an
for
elite
Calgary.
player, and so,
No
but
question.
yeah, he didn't win a cup.
No
He's-
cup for Cicerelli.
No
Yeah.
cup for Cicerelli.
Hall of Fame though.
Is Jerome McGinley a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely,
He
100%.
definitely will.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What about, did Pat Verbeek win it? Pat Verbeek won a cup with Dallas.
How about this also? King Henrik.
King Henrik will, but he's playing. I'm talking about people, I'm talking about like Bobby Clark.
Look, it doesn't matter, it's done for him anyway. He's not gonna win a cup if he stays there. So,
Lauren, what?
That was my pick.
Who, Bobby Clark?
No, Hendrick.
Oh, Henrik
Yeah.
Lundqvist?
yeah.
Yeah, but Henrik Lundqvist is still playing today.
Right, for all intents and purposes, he's not gonna win a cup by the end of his career if he stays where he is. There's no way the Rangers are gonna suddenly explode and become a cup contender
I think you're
in
wrong.
the next 5 years.
I think you're wrong. I think
Pavel Bure?
that, Pavel Bure, cup winner.
The
Pavel
guy in
Bure.
Phoenix. The guy in Phoenix.
Shane Doan.
Jeremy Roenick.
Shane Doan.
Shane Doan.
Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah.
Jeremy Roenick never won a cup.
I mean, again, whether record holders or not, I'm trying to list elite players at the top of the game who just never were in the right
Shane Doan never won a cup.
time, the right
Shane Doan could have asked for a trade too.
Well, okay, let's go back to the Shane Doan thing real quick. I know we talked about it last year at some point briefly. He was given a chance where but he wanted to stay in Arizona. He said, we have something good going here. He wanted to stay. And what did the management do? They rewarded him with saying, you're done, buddy.
I know.
Get out.
They did.
Pack your shit and move out.
Yeah, they did.
And I'm sorry, and that's why, I always said this, I said, he needed to leave when he had the chance. Because it was never gonna happen, it was a rebuild with him, and he was, I think, 35, 36, whatever at the time. It was never gonna happen for him, he kept thinking it was. I felt bad for him, he was a good player, he's a hard-nosed player. but, you know, that was how they get
Yeah,
rewarded.
Shane Doan is definitely a guy that,
And he could have, any other teams could use his services with the grit, especially when it comes down for the playoffs.
he's a great player.
Yeah,
I always like
and
watching.
I'm sure there's another list of
What
people,
about
but
Keith Kachuk? Did Keith Kachuk ever win a cup?
With St. Louis.
Roberto Luongo,
Roberto Luongo has not won.
No.
he's never gonna win.
I had Marcus Naslin.
Marcus Naslin.
Patty
Marcus
Marleau.
Naslin not- yeah, Naslin.
Marlowe.
Marlowe has not won a cup.
Marleau,
He's still
right?
playing,
Still
so
playing.
we could see him. But Marcus Naslin was a great player.
Paul Correa?
Paul Correa won a cup with the Ducks.
No, he was already gone by then.
He was gone. He was out by then.
Yeah.
So he
2008.
never won the cup.
He made the cup, but he didn't win it.
No, so there's a list
Huh.
of players, we should probably, well, you know, we do our
That's good to
research,
look
we're gonna
at.
come in with our top 10 players that we should have won the cup, it's
That's a great top 10 list to have.
yeah.
All right.
I wanna shift gears real quick, just touch on the Western Conference, standings right now, since we're being asked about this, but San Jose is, jumped forward in the, as I call it, the garbage Pacific Division, where it's basically a 3-team race between them, Calgary, who I don't have a problem with, and Vegas. After that, it drops off, Vancouver, Arizona, Edmonton, boy, Edmonton's just terrible.
Edmonton has the best player in the league.
I think that they may solve the Bermuda Triangle mystery before they're gonna solve what's happening in Edmonton. I mean, this is crazy, you're gonna find Amelia Earhart's airplane first before that team gets going.
I don't know what's wrong with
I
that.
don't understand.
I don't either.
Uh,
What is their problem? Seriously, let's hone in. Maybe we need to get our guy back from we had from Edmonton. We had on it was like I think in October last year. We had an Edmonton expert. He's I'm blanking his name. I'm gonna look it up. Well, we'll look. But we need to get somebody.
Sean, cut that part out.
Yeah, we need to. Sean, will you cut that part out? Thank you. But we do need somebody who knows something about why Edmonton is crumping, because I don't understand.
I think if someone knew that, they'd have a managerial position with the Oilers.
Yeah, I do. I think they would too, because I mean,
Someone's
it
gotta
doesn't
figure
make
it
any
out,
sense. It makes no sense that team.
Y equals MX
is-
plus B makes more sense than what's going on in remember that formula?
That does make a lot of sense, actually, to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm a
me too.
math guy.
Well,
So that's,
there you go.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I think the big issue in Edmonton right now is it's gotta be something with the,
Not the coach.
no, it's not the coach, they've already changed the coach, they've got the players for sure. I don't know what it is, they just don't have it. It's gotta be a chemistry issue, there's gotta be a cancer on that team that isn't right. You know, I always think that, and you see it, you know, sometimes, and then that guy gets traded and all of a sudden things are better.
Well, we don't have enough going on over there to really make a decision.
Well, I don't know, they are, but even if you look in the Pacific Division, what if Edmonton wins 3 in a row, are they in a wild
No,
card spot?
Not even close. So after Vegas, it drops off like a steep cliff where it's to Vancouver, Arizona, Edmonton, the Kings, and the lowly Ducks. That's it for the Pacific, okay? So whoever's asking about the Western Conference, there's your Pacific Division in a nutshell. 3 teams, and that's it. The Central Division, though, is a little more of a tougher race because you have Winnipeg, Nashville, Dallas. St. Louis is very close on them by 2 points, followed basically with the same amount of points, Minnesota. Colorado's only 4 points out of them, out of there, and then you have Chicago, believe it or
not far out.
Is not far out.
Yeah, no, I think that
So I think the
Central
most-
Division's different.
Yeah, it gets the award for the most parity in any division. It's clearly Winnipeg and Nashville are running away with it.
Winnipeg.
But it's that third spot and maybe even possibly one or two of the wild card spots, depending. We'll see what happens.
Well, I think I think the Jets are looking like the strong team out of the West. I think they're headed to the conference. I
But
mean,
nobody-
Calgary's doing great too, but you know, I just think Winnipeg's got the size, they've got the roster. I think they've got everything they need to go to the Stanley Cup.
Well, nobody is coming close though, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Far
Tampa Bay
heads and shoulders above everybody with 86 points. And we're not even in March yet.
Kucherov is tearing it up.
Yeah, which
He's
brings us
unbeatable.
to our next segment. Are we in it yet or not?
I'm doing a
We
segment
got
where
like maybe 10 minutes left.
Oh,
No,
well, then
no,
then cut
No,
that
but
part
I
out.
think, but I think what we're gonna do is we'll talk to the Tampa Bay people
make that a
on the
separate.
for the next episode. I
Oh,
think we
okay.
should talk to them for
Fine.
full on, I mean, there's a lot to cover with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you, you know more about the team than I do.
I don't like knowing about Tampa Bay.
Well, you do though.
No, I don't.
But then you do know.
Even
more.
though they are my pick to win the Stanley Cup, because I do believe that they have the juice.
Sean, just cut that part out.
Sean, are you gonna cut that? Cowballs, are you gonna cut that out? You gotta cut that out too.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, but we've also seen the curse of the President's Trophy. You know, how many times has that happened?
What's the curse of the President's Trophy?
Oh,
Oh, the best team.
Yeah, I
of
mean,
course,
it's just,
yeah,
they
yeah.
won
No,
the
I mean,
playoffs and then
for
tank in
sure.
the first round.
Well, I mean, that could happen, by the way, because one thing about Tampa Bay is every game they come out, they look like they're playing for the Stanley Cup, and that does wear thin, and you get tired by the time the playoffs show up.
That, and also, if the coach decides to rest some of the players, you start resting some of your best players, they get out of their rhythm, the chemistry on the team starts to take a little bit of a hit, and then you gotta go, okay, let's ramp it back up now all of a sudden, you know, for the playoffs, and it's not that easy.
What about this Dallas team? Do they
There's
have
somehow,
any shot?
listen, we know by the Kings from 2012, that if you, as long as you get in, any team has a shot.
That's true, and I think the Dallas is coming on right now.
Yeah, I don't think that they have, they're a cup contender.
They're not stacked enough to
No,
go the distance.
no, I think they potentially get out of the first round, depending who they play. But I think that whoever they play in the second round is gonna just destroy them.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I like Dallas, and I think that that comment made by the
Lice,
by
Jim
the
Lice.
owner,
Yeah, that was the VP, I think.
The
Jim
VP.
Lice, yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
did motivate Ben and
Did something.
yeah, I mean, it definitely did, right?
Maybe more GMs or vice presidents are gonna berate their players in public.
I think that may be helpful. I don't know.
7:30 or later.
All right. Well, who else do we need to touch on before we wrap it up this week? Ty Domi wearing Canadians jersey?
Oh, there was a picture with him and Max on the ice together.
Oh, I have no thoughts on that. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah,
Ty
it was-
Domi's like, he's very retired.
Yeah, it's only
I said retired.
it's only the people that are in the Maple Leafs that are gonna care about that. No one's really gonna care about that.
No, they don't care. The Maple Leafs fans are gonna care about everything.
True, but
They can't help
are they
themselves.
gonna start throwing Domi jerseys on the ice now?
No, probably not. But his son, Max
yeah,
Domi,
he's turning it up.
is awesome.
Yeah,
He's so fun to watch.
he's a fun player to watch. He's also much more of a well-rounded two-way player.
He still likes to
dad.
scrap.
That's what I'm saying. He can do it all.
He
though.
does like to scrap, but he's a
Yeah.
goal scorer.
Yeah,
Yeah, his dad was.
he's a much better
I
offensive
do
player.
love that one. If we can find it on YouTube, it would be great, Sean, if we could get the clip of him pulling the fan into the penalty box with him and beating the living hell out of a fan. It's
How about
awesome. I mean, this is a guy who takes no guff. That's all. I mean, you don't yell at him. I think if you saw him now, you gotta be careful.
Wings up for 1-0 on the Preds.
You got it?
Take that.
Ah, there it is. See, it's a sick clip. What else we got? Craziest fan base during the playoffs. Okay, craziest fan base in the West. But it's gonna be a tough one this year because in the West, the four that I can think of offhand: Predators, Winnipeg Jets, Sharks, and the Golden Knights.
Oh, you're so far off, my friend. The craziest in the West is gonna be Calgary. As far as fan base.
No.
There is nothing else to do in Calgary.
Bougie fans.
There's nothing else to do there. They play
Bougie
hockey.
fans. They're the oil people now.
Get out of here.
They are.
Calgary.
Too much money up there.
No, there's the Stampeders and the Rough Riders. There's two teams of the Rough Riders, right? What is it in the CFL? Calgary Stampede, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, the Stampede, whatever. I don't know
Really? You
what's
think,
it.
you think Calgary's got a crazy fan base?
Huge, crazy fan.
Really?
base. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna look.
They are-
I could stand to be correct on this.
That Saddle Dome there, the people there are just fanatics.
But the.
They don't get much attention or credit.
No, they don't.
Winnipeg is a similar situation to Calgary.
Yeah, Winnipeg fans are crazy.
Again, not much else to do there.
There is not much else to do.
But, you know, what else is there to do though?
Harvest
Get
wheat.
two more.
2 more?
Mhm.
Oh, geez. In the West or the East, does it make a difference?
Each conference.
Now, how are we judging this? How are
Wait,
we
this is
gauging
the West one. So I
Yeah, West.
said Jets, Sharks, Knights, Preds.
Mhm.
But if I had to pick one out of mine, I'd pick the
The
Jets.
Sharks, what is it?
The Sharks
Really?
fan base is crazy. They are
Nice.
nuts. They are. It's hard to play in that building. It's the loudest building in the NHL too, by far.
Need to learn the game first.
They are by the way, the Sharks are the most heavily, since January, are the most heavily scoring team in the NHL. They have scored more points than anybody else since January.
They put 7 last night.
Yeah, I know. I'm watching it, John. I get it. I just don't
I
like
gotta
it.
make sure.
I don't. I will remind you of my elevator ride with those guys. That's all I'm telling you. From the East, craziest fan base. It's tough because the East has some seriously crazy fan bases. I think the Penguins have the craziest fan base. They are rabid fans.
Of course you're gonna say that.
Yeah, well, they are though, and they are really.
Well, I'm gonna say the Red Wings then.
They are not the craziest fan base. No, actually they are.
Oh.
No, they are. That's a pretty crazy one, but they won't be in the playoffs.
So it has to be a playoff team?
Yeah, playoff team. Like, let's get real here, Jason. You and I are both wearing non-playoff team attire right now. We are definitely in the done in April category.
All right, well, as far as the playoff teams right now, I'm gonna just say listen, there's no question in my mind, Toronto.
Toronto.
That's it. It's
Crazy fan base.
drop the mic after Toronto, that's it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna drop the mic, so I'm gonna break my.
No, but that's true. I mean, that fan base there, you literally had at a game with the fans inside the arena, equal if not more fans outside the arena watching the game.
Yeah, for sure. But,
You know-
and their fan base is insane.
Yeah.
They're nuts.
And, you know, it's been too long there since they've had a cup. So I'm gonna go with this.
Who else is gonna be in the playoffs that has a crazy fan base?
Boston?
Boston is
Boston,
not
they're just-
like
they're just-
crazy.
they're just
They're
crazy,
so
period.
critical of their own team.
Yeah, Boston fans are just crazy, period.
Yeah,
That's it. There's just drop, pure crazy with a dot at the end.
yeah, just crazy.
Yes.
Not a crazy fan base, just
Yes.
crazy. Yeah, but I'm telling you, the Boston fans are not, they're so critical of their team. I would not.
They've
want
also
to
had
play
too much
Boston.
success in Boston with all their sports teams. Enough's enough. Kinda had it with them in their sports teams.
Yeah, well, I can't stand that, Patriots just took another one.
Yeah, it's enough.
It's awful. Although that.
They have 6 Super Bowl wins. My Lions have had 1 playoff win in 54 years. Okay, I've had it with this Boston city and their sports.
You
I love
can't
the city.
compare Boston
No, it's
and
a-
Detroit with sports.
Listen,
It's a bad idea.
It is, but it's a
Especially when you talk about football.
It's a wonderful city. I have friends there. I've been there, but I don't like their sports teams at all.
All right, so who's it gonna be then? I mean, the craziest fan base in the
Toronto.
East is
So
probably
that's
Toronto.
it. That's it. There's no one else.
Yeah, you know who's got a crazy fan base though? Columbus.
Oh.
Montreal's very critical, a little too snobby, not ready to get up and cheer enough. No, but the Columbus crew is crazy.
Now,
And
does it-
Columbus will be in the
Those are some
playoffs.
LeBron James fans, they know how to
LeBron
cheer.
James, yeah.
Are they, is your notion of who's coming out of the East changing with the Islanders being in first place and playing so well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Islanders are gonna do very well. I think they have.
They may not be a cup team, but they're gonna do some serious damage to somebody coming in.
Yeah, they are.
That's
They're
my
gonna take,
thought
they're
on
gonna
it.
take somebody important out,
I think-
like
I
a
think-
Washington or a.
They're getting past the second round, I think.
Yeah, I think they are too. Anders Lee,
Yeah,
more power to him.
yeah, I agree.
Guys, they're just running a great show. Barry Trotz and Anders Lee, I think are the reason that team has run to a different level. I mean, they're stacked. They have great talent, and lo and behold, it's essentially the same team as last year, without Tavares, number 1 in the Metro
There you
Division.
go.
So what does that say?
Says they have a great coach.
It does. That coaching change was huge. And isn't Lou Lamoriello
GM.
isn't he the GM? I mean, he's a genius, that
Yeah.
guy. So life is good. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week, Jason. We got our Ducks wrap up in, and we need to see what happens.
What are the
this
odds
Thursday.
any of the players we met are actually listening to this?
The odds are probably 5,000.
I'd love for them to be able to listen to it.
We can. I mean, I'll send it over to Pronger and to You know, they're guys we sent, and Brian Allen maybe, they're people we.
You think they were laughing, saying, hey, you see that tall Wings fan over there? He said he wanted to apologize to me.
Yeah.
Put it to work.
I'm sure they were.
I
That's what
guarantee
was-
they were laughing about
Well,
me.
I was saying that, so they must have been saying.
Oh, thank you. That's, appreciate that.
I didn't say that. So, Monday, Sean, our producer, wants everyone to know that on Monday, we're gonna be talking about Tampa Bay Lightning. So that show needs to download, right, with Larry Timo, is that correct? Yeah, so we will be talking on Monday with Larry Timo, who is a radio announcer from Tampa Bay, who I've spoken to. In fact, he and Brett Ernst called me one time when I was seeing patients, because they were talking about a show in Tampa Bay with Brett, and they had me on.
We have to
for
get
like
Brett
15
back
minutes.
on.
Oh, Brett, I just want to give a shout out to the Gentleman Show with Brett Ernst. Have you guys seen this at all? It's hilarious. It is so the perfect vehicle for Brett Ernst. It is so worth it. The Gentleman Show. Check it out. And that is DE Gentleman Show. All right. Anyway, we will catch you up with you on Monday and next week.
Someone said we look like twins.
It is the we look like twins.
I never been,
You are a very handsome man, then. That's all I can say.
you're really ugly, dude.
All right, this is the